Yo, Bo, welcome to another episode of In the Life of MightyFan, and, oh my. uh, Flyers win again tonight. They win 1-0 against the Detroit Red Wings, and, it was a good week to play the Detroit teams, I guess. The Sixers beat up on everyone's been beating up on the Pistons. I'm sorry to Big Baby, but the bad boys aren't coming through those doors. The Wallace guys and Billups and Hamilton and his mask, they're not coming through those doors. Boy, 22 straight. You know, we were talking earlier this week at work, and we were kind of remembering, not so much reminiscing, but remembering the Sixers' long losing skids when they were in the process years and how terrible that was. I mean, boy, if you're a Pistons fan, oh, oh boy, and they get a lot of high picks every year. It's like, so even if they get like the first pick in the draft this year, it's no guarantee that they're gonna pick a good player. But we'll see. But the Sixers, they won again tonight. They've been beating up on some bad teams, but you gotta win the games, right? So they just own the Hornets, and since the Hornets came back, like the Sixers, it's like every game in Charlotte they've just been, since Embiid has been playing, the Hornets just. I know they haven't been great shakes, but they can't they do not match up well against the Sixers. Why can't we play them in the second round? Can we just enough of the Celtics or the Bucks or whatever other teams. Well, we didn't play the Bucks yet in the second round, but Toronto or the Hawks. Maybe if we can play the Hornets, one of then I think we might be able to get out of the second. But good job by the Sixers, and Joel Embiid 10 straight games now, I believe, with 30 point, 10 rebound. I mean, when you're passing guys like Wilt Chamberlain on all-time lists, I mean that's still pretty good. Good job for the big fella, the reigning MVP. Although we need MVP performances in the playoffs. I know it's all our Sixer fans say this too. I get it, but Joel, we need these performances. But not not making light of it. He's played really well. And I like the makeup of the team. It's nice to have a Sixer team without an also Rand on there anymore. I mean, it's nice to not have a lot of drama. It's different for the Sixers not to have a lot of drama, but it's nice not to have that finally. For the first time in, oh God, how many years? See, how many years were we dealing with the Ben Simmons stuff, James Harden? James Harden's like a year, so I mean, whatever, but Morey got extended too. I thought that was a decent deal. Look, for the most part, he's done okay. There hasn't been the huge splash move. I guess if you want to call trading Simmons for Harden the splash move, but I mean he was able to get out of the Harden deal. He moved some other bad contracts. I mean, people talk about Tobias Harris, but I mean honestly, what can you do, right? It's one of those things. Maybe he gets moved at the deadline this year. We'll see. It is what it is. But I like the other players that they put around. Embiid and Maxey. I mean, those are your two horses. And it's just about getting guys around those two, for now and into the foreseeable future. But I do have hope. You always have to have hope. I mean, I know it's like Groundhog Day every year in the second round, but hopefully, maybe with a different cast of characters, maybe who knows what can happen this year. Never say never. And the Flyers, though, man, I'm happy because, listen, they've been missed. Not that they've been gone, but they've been missed. I mean, they were just so downtrodden the last few years, and just terrible GM jobs, terrible just everything, top to bottom. But it's a nice fresh breath of air with them now. You have Briere brought in as the GM and Jonesy as the player of the director of player personnel, and they've you can tell that the team, it's almost like a weight's been lifted. You can tell the team has certainly responded. They're playing really good hockey. I mean, are they going to be one of the top teams? No. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect this season. Early in the season, I'm like, all right, whatever, let's just get the pick. But at this point, I like what I've seen. I like how they're playing. They're a very good defensive team. They're great on the penalty kill, which is like something new around here. They used to be terrible. It's almost like the other team would get a power play and it's an instant goal. I mean, you just know here it comes, right? But they're really good on the PK. On the power play, they're not great, but they don't have a lot of great scorers on the team. I guess Konechny's their best goal scorer. He's probably going to have another 30 goals scoring season, and that's okay. That's nice. They really don't have a lot of depth in that area. They have a lot of kind of grinder kind of guys. I like Tippett. I mean, that was a nice little move they made a few years ago, getting him for Claude Giroux from Florida. Tippett's played pretty good, since being here. I guess, has a bigger role as a Flyer than he did in Florida. And he's been a solid player since he's come to the Orange and Black. And I like some of the other players that they have. I know they got some guys back from injury, obviously, who weren't playing last season. Coots and Atkinson, although Atkinson's been struggling so far this season, certainly in the goal-scoring department. But, he's a guy that can pick it up, at some point. They're just so active, on the PK, too. They're always trying to get the puck and go. So many times you see, right, on the PK, you see them get the puck, shoot it down the ice, right? Shoot it down the ice, and that's fine. But the Flyers just try to score. And they're so good at just these shorthanded goals because they're so aggressive. And not in a bad way. They don't go and try to go and turn the puck over and then it's going the other way in your net. So they're really good at that. They're very dangerous on the PK of getting shorthanded goals. And they're getting great goaltending, whether it's Hart or Urson. We have a shootout goalie now. The Flyers are winning shootouts. Oh, my goodness. Oh, dreams coming true in Philadelphia at the Wells Fargo Center. I tell you, we're winning these damn things now. I hated the shootout for years. I couldn't stand it, partly because the Flyers were terrible at them every year. They couldn't win these damn shootouts. But now they're winning them. I'm shocked. I don't quite know what to do. I feel like it's like this is a new experience. I'm not used to this. So they're undefeated in shootouts this season. Oh. And listen, I'm not saying they're going to win a cup this year. And honestly, like I said, I didn't know what to expect from them this year. But I'm happy with what I'm seeing. And look, they can only go up from here. I mean, look, the future is still there. I mean, you still have guys out there that they have to, be on the team, like a Cutter Gauthier, and maybe we see him at the end of the year. We'll see. After he has to spend some time at Lehigh Valley. I believe he's in college right now, Boston College. But he's part of the future. And then, I can't wait. Oh no! When he comes over from Russia, right? Mishka, I can't wait for him. That name's so great. Yeah, when we get him, maybe he'll be the sniper that we've been waiting for forever, really since the early Claude Giroux years, right? So the future is bright, and I like the present. I like what I'm seeing. So hats off to Briere and Jonesy, and John Tortorella's done a very good job coaching too, and it's hard because. Listen, you got some young players on the team. You have some veterans, but you got some guys that are kind of in and out. You just don't. It's hard to kind of get this kind of team to mesh right away as he's been doing. But they've been doing a terrific job. Are they a team that's going to be at the top of the Metro Division at the end? No. There's just better teams. The Rangers are there at this point, right? You have other teams on the Eastern Conference like the Bruins, like the Panthers, right? Like some of these other teams that, the Flyers aren't at that level, but they're working to get there. And I think within the next few years, they're going to be right there with some of those other teams. And I'm happy because I've missed it. I enjoy hockey. I enjoy the I'm a big, obviously, Flyers fan, and I've missed it. I know they haven't had a lot of playoff success in many years, but the last few years, handful of years, the playoffs come and go. The Flyers aren't part of it. The Wells Fargo Center's dark. Stands for obviously the Sixers, but when you have all the teams going well, I remember the years, when Iverson, and the Sixers were making their run, and the Flyers were, perennial playoff, appearance team, right? They were there. You can count on them every year, and you have all these different playoff games going between the two teams, and it's fun, it makes it exciting. And yeah, the Sixers have given us some. Yeah, the second round hasn't been the best, but I mean they get out of the first round every year. They've given us some playoff success. They're there every year, so it'd be nice for the Flyers to join in on the party, And I'm not listen. This is like the gravy year, right? You don't really expect it this year. This is like whatever they do this year. If they make the playoffs, if they don't make the playoffs, I mean it is what it is. We can't say we came into the season expecting too much. We didn't know what to expect, so they make the playoffs this year. And they actually have a little success in there. It's unexpected, so we're going to appreciate it. And you can only build from there, right? Even if they just miss the playoffs. I mean, but again, you build from that. You go for it from there. And I think the future looks bright. And for the first time in a very long time, I'm excited for the Flyers, and I'm excited for the future. And it's fun. I mean, I see the building tonight, against Detroit. That place was jumping. It's a 1-0 game. There's a lot of close calls. The place was just the excitement. You can feel it. I mean, I went to the game some weeks ago against Pittsburgh. I mean, you can feel it. The building is you're starting to get that energy in the building again, right? In the barn, the energy is coming back in the barn. And it's nice to see. It is, because it's been missing from here for too long. And when the Flyers are going good, that building is still one of the best for hockey. It really is, just like it is for basketball. I mean, these fans just they bring that energy, and you can feel it watching at home on your TV. It's great to see. It's great to see. So I'm happy for that. And we need an Eagles win. We just need to just for our psyche, we need to get back in the win column this Monday night. Although now Slay's not going to be in there. I don't know, man. A couple other players aren't going to be in there. It's going to be a tough one. I mean, Seattle's lost 4 in a row. Regardless of who their quarterback is, our defense is still the secondary is against those receivers. That's going to be again the onus to me again is on the pass rush for defense, but it's on the offense. The Eagles' offense has to be there. They have to have long, sustained touchdown scoring drives. They have to find a way to do that because you don't want Seattle's offense on the field too long, making plays. So the best defense, I think, Monday night is our offense staying on the field, which I know has been a problem in the last few weeks. Playing better defenses, but still, I mean, just not good. Not good enough, certainly, against those teams, against anybody. But we'll see. Obviously, Monday night's the game. And we'll see. So good things happening here in Philly. For our sports teams. I know the Eagles the last couple of weeks have been, not good as I said, but they're still 10-win team. They're looking to win their 11th game and stay in a chance to get that top seed in the NFC. And I even hear the Phillies are rumored to be in the discussions for Mr. Yamamoto, which would be great. I mean, the Phillies never get one of those guys coming over from Japan. So this would definitely be a first, and I would welcome it for sure. In fact, I had a little chat with Mr. Middleton at the Phillies tree lighting with my buddy TJ Fan, and he did make mention of Yamamoto. We actually did discuss Yamamoto. I also told him we need a closer, but But anyhow, of course, John Middleton, the owner of the Philadelphia Phillies. So we'll see. But just them to be involved in it, I think is good because obviously it's always the same teams, right? The Yankees, the Dodgers, you know, your usual suspects. So for the Phillies to be lumped in with those teams, it's still a pretty cool thing, and maybe they'll surprise and get them. We'll see. I mean, they could use another starter. So I know they brought good old Mr. Nola back. And in the end, I'm not terribly against it. I know some Philly fans are like, yeah, maybe too many years, and I get that, but I mean, look, I mean, he is a known commodity here, and they're comfortable with him, and he's comfortable here. So, okay, you got that deal done. They really haven't done anything since, and I'm kind of there, drumming my fingers, going, all right, Phillies, what are we doing? The Dodgers are making moves every day. The Braves are making moves. These other teams are making moves, and we got Nola back. But it's like a lateral move because we already had him, right? So we'll see. I know the baseball off season is a lot different than these other off seasons. With these teams because these other sports is like bang, 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 right? They're getting these players. There's all these moves. Baseball, it's just spread out. I mean, we must remember how long it took the Phillies to get Harper. I mean, how long that went drug on for, So we'll see. I'm hoping they can make some moves because the Phillies need to. They can't just stay status quo. They are still going to be one of the upper echelon teams, I believe, in the National League, but they still need to make a few moves to get better, to take that next step. So we'll see. Obviously, time will tell for that, but So yeah, I mean, look, the Eagles obviously the last 2 weeks withstanding, I think for the most part things have been going okay. It's exciting again, and that's all you can hope for as a fan, is for your teams to to be in the mix, to go for it, to kind of have the foot on the pedal, on the gas, and the teams have seemed to have kind of answered the call. But we'll see. There's still a long way to go. There's a long way to go in the NHL season, the NBA season, obviously. Football, there's only 4 more weeks, including this one. But, we'll see. And then obviously baseball didn't come back until the late winter into the spring. But it's exciting, and that's, like I said, that's all I can hope for as a fan is just be involved, to have something to look forward to actually be excited to watch the teams, instead of they're playing again, but it's just another night and not much is expected. They're probably going to take another L, kind of thing that we had to say for many last few years for the Flyers, and obviously the process years with the Sixers, but it's certainly a welcome thing for the Flyers to be playing better, and for them to matter again, because it's been too long, and I missed it. Like I said, I missed seasons where you look forward to games. Like I looked forward to tonight's game against Detroit. I looked forward to the other night against Washington. Right, like these games, like you're starting to. Yeah, I mean they're exciting again. Yeah, I mean this is like. I look forward to seeing them, whereas before it's just going through the motions. So at any rate, that rant's done. On to another one. So I usually film this kind of video like between Christmas and New Year's, with the New Year's collecting resolution, right, or resolutions or what have you. But I figured it's been on the mind, so I might as well just make a vid now, a little earlier than usual, but it's still around the right time for it. And my buddy has, when he was here with his cousin a couple weeks ago, asked a question and asked if there's any more Grail, what I would consider a Grail jersey on my hit list. And I told him I can't think of one. I think I've been very fortunate that I was able to knock off a lot over the last, however many years. And this year, opportunity came up for me to get some very nice jerseys and Grail, pieces off the list. I was able to do that. Yeah, thanks again to my buddy Slim for the big assist on that. But the Billy White shoes over there. That's just, it's hard to fathom that it's actually sitting there. But there were others too. And I think for the first time, I can't really think of one that what I would consider a grail. And it's difficult because there's jerseys that I would love to have that would have to be like um, custom done because Mitchell and Ness never made it. Another company may never have made it. I think I brought up in the past Mike Schmidt's 500th home run jersey, basically the powder blue jersey that was worn in Pittsburgh when he hit his 500th home run. And it's a little different Phillies jersey than anything Mitchell and Ness has made. Just the look of it is a little different. So it's not like I can take a 1980 jersey or an 83 or a 76 and send it off and have it turned into a Schmidt because the P is different on the front. And it has the Independence Hall logo on the sleeve. Now, the logo you can always get, but the P on the front is different than the P that you see on any Mitchell and Ness jersey. Sans for the 89. Road Gray, Mike Schmidt that they made years ago. Because the P on the jersey of the powder blue that he hit his 500th, it's a little more elongated and it has the seams inside the circle of the P of the ball. And they started doing that in the late 80s. That wasn't started until then. Because the logo, the fat P that they had on the front of their jerseys for years, didn't have the baseball seams within that circle, but later they added that, and it's a little thing, but I know it. So if I got a 1980, let's say hypothetical, turned that and said, all right, just add the patch, and it's his 500th home. No, because the P is still a little different on the front. It's all about the details, right? It's all about the details. So that's still a jersey I would love to have in the collection. Whether or not Mitchell and Ness will ever make it, I don't know. I don't even know if I could take it to like another year jersey to a customizer and they can recreate that P on the front. I have no idea. It's not really something I've looked into either, so maybe it's possible. And there's really not a lot of, if any, customizers who make these jerseys from scratch. The way, or get blanks and do whatever to them, right? The way like True Custom would do with the basketball jerseys. So baseball, you really don't have that. It would be very dangerous for me if there was someone who did that because that might ruin me financially. that would put me over the edge. But yeah, so but there's others like that. That I would like to have, but I know, what would be tough. But I still don't know if I could really call them a grail because they're not out there. A grail to me is something that I've seen before, that I know for sure, like Mitchell and Ness made, and it's out there. It might be harder to get. Obviously, that's why it's a grail, right? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, okay, rookie Allen Iverson, Mitchell and Ness jerseys, that's a grail because they're around. You can get them, now, maybe a different run of them might be harder to get, but, they're always out there, right? But a grail, in my mind of a grail, is like the Billy White shoes. It's like, at the time, the Dion rookie red jersey, because that one got away from me a few times. And at the time, it wasn't really popping up all the time. You would see it here and there, and every time I had a shot at it, it just slipped through my fingers until I finally got it from a fellow collector. That would be a grail. There's others out there in that kind of vein that I would say this is a grail jersey for me. This is one that's gotten away from me a few times. It's an older run. It's harder to get. You don't see it as much. Yeah, that's why it's a grail. It's my grail, right? So seeing what I was able to get off that list, and not really seeing one on my to get list that I would really consider, like, oh, this is a Grail jersey, is a nice thing. Now it's not to say that a Grail jersey couldn't pop up on it. If there's an old run jersey that kind of gets away from me a few times, and it's not one that you see all the time, that would probably, then I would have a Grail jersey again that I want to get. But you know, so it's an accomplishment. It's nice to say, okay, well, there really isn't one jersey in particular that's it's just impossible to get. Oh my God, I've only seen this once or twice, and oh, am I ever going to have a shot? I should have gotten it this time, and I didn't. And that FOMO is big, and that's something that I got to do. I really got. I feel it gets me a little too much sometimes, and I would like to get to do better with it. Going forward. So if there was a resolution, that might be one of them. Just to do a little better, not let the FOMO kind of take over, because it does. And I'm not saying it never will. I think it's obviously something that all collectors deal with, and maybe more so than anyone else. But it's definitely something, though, that it's taken over at times a little too much. And I gotta do a better job, as Andy Reid would say. I gotta do a better job. I gotta do a better job at reeling it in and not letting it overtake me so much, because it has. And I know sometimes it's a little easy. You got the pay in for option now with with PayPal, and it that makes it even more hard. It makes it harder, because you kind of have that in your back pocket, like, oh well, I could just do a pay in for. But then sometimes you forget how many paying fors you have going at that certain time. So that, I think, is still going to be one of the more tricky things for me. Particularly with some of these new release stuff, because they come out and you just get so excited. And so, oh, look at this, and oh, but if I don't go after it now, it's going to be gone. It's going to be gone. And oh, I've already had this many of it. I don't want to miss out on this one, right? And it's hard. That's probably the toughest one. But it's something I think I should try to do better with. Kind of see the big picture. And it's hard to do that, because when it's right there and it's staring you in the face, you're looking at this thing on the site and it's staring you in the face, and it's just, I really shouldn't, but I don't know if I could let this one get away. It actually happened tonight. Last year I was at so Mitchell & Ness obviously has the flagship in Philly, but they also have the corporate headquarters shop, and that's by appointment only. So you go there and you have like a half hour tops, and it's another building. It's some blocks away from the flagship, and they have in their basement they have a couple little kind of boutique shops, and it's all of the clearance items, But they also, if you would like, they can also take you on a tour, and part of the tour is you go into these other rooms and you're seeing like almost like a big boardroom looking place. And within that room they have a vault, and I think in the vault there's some actual like game used paraphernalia. There's helmets in there. There's all sorts of little things. You don't have a lot of time really to look through everything, but there's some stuff. There might be some old Run Mitchell & Ness stuff in there too, if I remember. But then they had in the room, you kind of walked around this table, and there was a rack of Phillies jerseys. I remember seeing this rack. And on the rack, they had a 1969 Dick Allen home jersey. And the 69 season when the MLB celebrated their 100th anniversary, so it has the 100th anniversary, logo on each jersey. And it was Dick Allen. And they didn't make a whole lot of Dick Allen Phillies jerseys. They made his White Sox jersey, the home and away, which I have. And so I'm looking at this jersey, and I'm just drooling over this thing. I'm just going I got the googly eyes going. because it's a rare jersey and it's got that Flair big 100th anniversary MLB patch on the sleeve. And I'm just looking at this thing and I can't take my eyes off it. I'm like, oh man. And I'm like, man, there's no way they would let me buy, because these are not for sale. These are just, these are Mitchell and Ness, you know, part of the history, So that's why they were on this rack. And I'm just thinking of this damn jersey, and I'm just saying, oh man, no. So anyhow, here we are. Fast forward to tonight, and I've never seen this jersey ever. All these years I've been on eBay, other places, OfferUp, Poshmark, the Facebook groups. I've never seen this besides that corporate office for Mitchell and Ness. It's the only time I've ever seen it. And once you know, one of them pops up. And I'm going, oh no. Yes, I know this is going to happen. And I'm not really in the greatest of places right now, with the fact that I just played host. Some guests, it's the holidays, Christmas gift buying, all that comes with the holidays. I made some purchases, what have you. And I'm like, no, this isn't the good time for this. But I know that I can't wait until my next billing cycle for my card, because it will be gone. There's no way this thing is staying for, however many more days there is left in my cycle. And I'm just going to regret so much if I didn't get it. And I know. Now, I do own, thanks to my buddy Slim, I do own a Dick Allen Phillies wool flannel, and I believe it's from his rookie year. It doesn't have a year tag on it, but the best we can guess is that they made his rookie jersey for the Phillies. Obviously, Mitchell and Ness, Philadelphia, it's based in Philly, and Peter, Capolino, obviously, is Philadelphia, so he made a lot of Philly stuff, over the years from his time there. And there were some jerseys that were made more than others, and some that he forgot he made, to be honest. But obviously, under his watch there, they made so many jerseys, it's hard to remember every one. And so they made his rookie, and apparently the 69, and obviously his White Sox jerseys. And I don't know if there's any others. I know I believe they never made any of his 70s Phillies jerseys. I saw one once, and it was a custom done one. I really still wish that's one of those that I still wish I could have gotten. But it was the home 76, because he came back to the Phillies after his time with the White Sox, and then he ended his career with the A's. And that's another nice one if I can ever get one of them made. But he wore the name of where he was born and lived. He was born and lived in Wampa, PA. So the back of his name on the back of the A's jersey was Wampa. And that was based off his hometown. So that was pretty cool. So he wore basically that for his hometown. But of the two Phillies jerseys, I never knew I never knew they made him until Slim was able to get the rookie one, which now I own, and this 69. And I've only seen the 69 one other time, and it was at the Mitchell & Ness corporate office. And now this is the second time I've ever seen it. So I'm like, okay, well, if I let this go, that might be tough. And I'm trying to think. I know they made, I want to say, I believe they made a Johnny Callison, but I believe the Johnny Callison they made was a 64. And the story behind the 64, if you don't know, the 64 Phillies was a big heartbreak team. They, at that time, if you won your league, your regular season, there wasn't even a playoffs, right? You went right to the World Series. All the Phillies had to do, and they had a lead. They had a decent sized lead in September, and they blew it. It was one of the biggest. It was one of the biggest collapses in MLB history. The '64 Phillies. I mean, people from that era, Like my dad's era, still can't get over that one. Because some people had World Series tickets in their hands, and the Phillies obviously didn't make it. I think they lost out to the Reds, I believe, or one of those teams. Someone leapfrogged them at the very end, and the Phillies could have gone to the World Series, and it would have been the first time since 1950. But it wasn't meant to be. But I believe that year, if I'm remembering correct, Johnny Callison won the All-Star game with this is what type of a magical year that was for the Phillies, because it kind of came out of nowhere, and they just were really good throughout the season. And Johnny Callison, I believe, if I remember, won the All-Star game for the National League off a walk-off home run, and I believe that's the jersey that Mitchell Ness made for him, was a 64. Basically, the representing that All-Star game home run. And I'm looking at the roster from 69, and I can't think of any other player other than Callison and maybe Rick Wise. Rick Wise was on that team. Rick Wise, who was famously traded years later for Steve Carlton, lefty, to the Cardinals, and a very controversial trade at the time. Because Rick Wise was a pretty good player for the Phillies. He was a good pitcher, and he could hit some home runs, too, as a pitcher. And he was traded for a not-so-well-known pitcher from the Cardinals, named Steve Carlton. I think that one went okay for the Phillies. But Rick Wise had some good years for the Phillies. But I was looking at the roster, and those are the only players I can think. Now, I don't know. Maybe they did some salesman sample of another player, some other player from that team. But the 69 team, which wasn't a very good team, but it had the patch. So I'm thinking this may be the only 1969 Phillies jersey that they ever did. I mean, I would be kicking myself if I didn't get it. It's the only difference between this jersey and the jersey I got from is it has a patch on the sleeve, but it's still something that I would love to have in the collection. So I did break that. At first, I made an offer because the first place I saw it was actually Poshmark, and then I saw it on Mercari. And the only reason I went to Mercari to look for it is because I knew with PayPal I could do the paying for. Because I don't think you can do it on Poshmark still. You can use PayPal, but I think it just goes straight. It doesn't even give you the option to do the paying for. And also on Mercari, they have something called Zip, and that's a paying for deal. So I was all ready to set it up. I was like, all right, let me just get it here. And I'm like, you know what? Let me set this up. I'm going to make him an offer, and I'm going to try to knock $50 off, and I'm going to do the Zip. I'm going to do the paying for. And after I did all that, I'm like, you know what? Let me see if it's on eBay. I go to eBay. Sure enough, it's on there. And on eBay, it was free shipping. The other places would have had to pay shipping. And he hadn't replied to the offer. So I'm sitting there and I'm going, all right, am I going to lose this thing over $50? Is this really going to happen? I even messaged him on eBay. I said, hey, I just sent you an offer not long ago on Mercari for this. I just want, and I just, it was one of those, it was the FOMO hit me so bad, I couldn't even eat dinner. I had the plate of dinner in front of me, Lee's Hoagies, who was one of my favorites, sitting in front of me, and all I could think of was that damn 69 Dick Allen. And I'm like, am I going to lose this thing over $50? Because I wasn't, I was in panic mode. I wasn't hearing back from the seller. He wasn't replying to the offer. It kept getting, when I went back to look at it, it was getting more attention, it seemed. More people were putting it on their, I guess, the card or watch list or whatever it was, because it would show you, right? And I go, all I need is for one person to come in here and grab it, and I'm going to miss out on it. And that's going to suck, because am I ever going to see this thing again? I don't know. Is this a risk I'm willing to go? And at the end I said, no, I can't. I can't be without this thing. So I went ahead and I pulled the trigger on it, and I just did the paying for. And I'm like, I really shouldn't do this. This really, no, but yeah. It's like the answer you already know is there. You just have to hit the button. Yeah, all right. And then I reached out to the son because the last thing and I was fearful of this, honestly. I'm like, I'm gonna hit this button to pay for it, and then the next thing I know, the offer's gonna get accepted. So I made sure to reach out to him again. I'm like, hey, I just want you to know, I purchased this. I said, the heck with the $50. I didn't want to I didn't want to risk that, missing out on it for. And I don't know, man. I that FOMO, but that was really hitting me over the head with this one because it was so rare, and I'm like, all right, all I need is just the one person come in there, and they're gonna see it and they're gonna know instantly what it is. I almost hate to say this because I've gotten some good stuff from him over the years. I was a little afraid the City of Winners was going to see it, and if he sees it and he gets it, he's going to relist it for like $500 or $600. The guy's a friend. I say this as a friend. I'm like, no, I can't have that. No, because then there's no way I'll ever get the damn thing, right? So I'm like, I don't want him to see it. He's not as perusing around eBay, but all has to be done is someone tips him off to it, or somehow he does. This is the night that he's on there, and this is then that's it. It's done. It's a done deal because it's exactly the kind of jersey he would definitely get because he is a Phillies fan, but he'd see the dollar signs with this one too because it's a rare piece. Is it the rarest? Probably not, but it's pretty rare. It's a pretty rare gem. Yeah, so me being the Phillies fan and the Phillies jersey collector, I'm like, yeah, that this one, it's the same as I have. It just has a patch on the sleeve, but that patch makes a difference for me. It just does. And knowing that they only made, to the best of my knowledge, 2 Dick Allen Phillies jerseys, to have them both, that would be pretty nice. It'd be pretty nice to say. Unless they made his road jersey. I don't know. They may have. I mean, they made a lot of stuff that we don't know. So it could be that they made his road jersey, too. And maybe I'll see that someday. But I believe the only 2 they did for the Phillies was his rookie and the 69. And after this comes in the mail, I'll have both, as well as the White Sox jerseys. And maybe someday if I can ever get one of those powder blue or whatever, maybe a custom one or something. Because I would like to get, his when he came back for the Phillies. And I would like to get his A's someday with the Wampa on the back, just for that name, and to complete the Dick Allen collection. He should be a Hall of Famer, too. Absolutely. People can't believe how he's not a Hall of Famer. I'm one of them. I mean, he put up numbers, and he was a great player for many years. Should be a Hall of Famer, absolutely. And since he's passed away, it's a shame. It's a shame if he does get voted in at some point, it's a shame he couldn't do it when he was alive. He's also one of the retired numbers for the Phillies. Thankfully, they did retire his number while he was still alive, right towards the end of his life. But he was there, and he appreciated that they retired his number 15. And the only Phillies jersey that I don't own of a retired number is, I believe, Jim Bunning. I believe they retired number 14. And I know Pete Rose wore it, so they retired it after Pete stays with the Phillies. I believe that 14's retired, and it's for Jim Bunning. And I guess if Pete did, obviously the whole scandal with the betting on baseball, whatever, he should be in the Hall of Fame too. I mean, who are we kidding, right? But I believe if he would have probably been a Hall of Famer, I would imagine they would have retired it twice. But obviously, with all that, you'll probably not see his number ever get retired for the Phillies. But if the betting thing never happened and he's a Hall of Famer or whatever, the Phillies probably would have retired 14 twice, one for Bunning and one for Rose, I would imagine. I know the Yankees have a number retired twice, and some other teams might, but I would imagine the Phillies would have done that too, but, you never know. I know Pete stays with the Phillies weren't as long with the Reds, but he still was a big contributor on the Phillies. He helped them win a World Series in 1980. He was kind of the final piece to them winning, back then. So, he had some really productive years with the Phillies too. Not as much, obviously. I mean, he'll always be known more as a Red, but he was really good with the Phillies too. And helping them win in 1980 was huge. That was their first ever World Series title, of which now they only have two. But still, you got to start someplace. And they were around since 1883. So 1883 to 1980, that's a long time to wait to get your first, but they did. And then, of course, '08, which is the one I saw, was old enough to see. So, as far as the retired numbers, I believe 14 is the one. And I think Mitchell Ness made his jersey. It's very rare. Like, I was trying to think after getting the one and after this one for Dick Allen, like, what are the rarest Phillies Mitchell Ness jerseys out there? And I wouldn't put them in the Grail category for me. They're jerseys I would love to get. But, I wouldn't say Grail, but they're ones I would like to add. And I know I saw a Callison at a Phillies game. And it was a Mitchell Ness. It was a wool. It was big number 6 on the back. And I want to say it was a 64 because I don't remember it having the 100th on the sleeve. So, but they did make a Callison, I believe. And I want to say they made a Bunning too. I saw it once. I think it was on eBay, and it was small. It was too small. It was like a large or whatever. And I remember seeing it, and I was pretty impressed. I'm like, ooh, so that means they are out there. Jim Bunning, because I would like to have one, to have all the retired numbers for the Phillies. And obviously he only played in the wool flannel days, so there's no poly knits. I couldn't get a poly knit. Maybe I can get it at some point, maybe down the road. I don't know, maybe a Richie Ashburn or a player they already have, and then have it turned into a. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. Because of different materials. Wool flannels are different. In that regard. But seeing it once, that means it's out there. It just has to pop up another time in my size, so I can add it, and I wouldn't mind getting a Callison either. So. I can't think of too many other players that they made within the actual number era. They obviously they did some Phillies jerseys just with the logo in the front, nothing in the back, whatever, representing those teens years or whatever, 20s or whatever. They made Fox back in the day. And I know I have the one with the Blue Jay on the sleeve. And I have Richie Ashburn, and I have Robin Roberts, Dick Allen, Chuck Clyde I have as well. So there's a few others out there, that they made, but I'm trying to think of like players that they made with the actual number on the back or something on the back of the jersey, right? So I want to say there's a Callison that was made, probably in a smaller run. And I only say that because they just don't pop up. You see a lot of Richie Allen, mixing the two players, right? Richie Ashburn. That's the one you see the most. You'll see Roberts pop up, on eBay from time to time. There was a decent amount of Roberts made. There was a few different years too for him made, as well as of Richie Ashburn. But the Callison, I want to say there must have only been one pressing done. And I want to say that I'm just saying it because you don't see them. And for Phillies flannels, you see them. They do pop up on eBay, authentic ones. There's a lot of fakes out there, but authentics you do see. The ones you just don't see are Callison, and I believe I saw one once on eBay or twice. And I know someone's wearing one at the Phillies game. The Jim Bunning, which I've only seen once on eBay. It does exist, though, so that gives me hope. And the Dick Allen. I got the rookie from Slim. He got the one before I could even see it on eBay. And this 69 that popped up. Those are the only times that I could even think of one even being seen on eBay, and the one I didn't even see, Slim saw it first. And thanks again to Slim for allowing me to get it from him. But so there are certain players for the Phillies that were made, but you just don't see them. And so if I do see it in my size, it would be hard to pass up. It just would, even with the FOMO I get, but it would be hard. It would be hard to pass up. But I also consider, I mean, that's my team too. So, they have a little that much more extra meaning, to have them. But, and I'm trying to think if there was any other players from that era, but I want to say, unless they did a salesman sample, unless they did something of a player, I can't think of any others. The only other flannel, and I believe it's a flannel, they made I almost want to say it was a powder blue. Carlton. So it must have been the last year they wore flannel, because it was the same kind of looking jersey as the Polyknit, And I've seen that jersey a few times, and it's always like a kind of question one, like, well, wait a minute, in that style did they wear flannel though back in the day? Because it looks like their 70s, 80s uniform, that blue, uniform with the fat P. But apparently, I guess the last year they wore flannel, they must have debuted it, because they made Carlton. I mean, I've seen that jersey, and it's an authentic. It's not a fake. It's an authentic Mitchell & Ness, whatever the year is, Steve Carlton. And it's a flannel jersey, but it's got that fat P on the front. And I forget if it's blue or gray, but I want to say it's blue. And I've seen it a handful of times, and it's always been one of those kind of quizzical ones for me, because I never really deep dived and done all the research of, okay, did they wear that as a flannel? Didn't they wear that as a flannel? What's the story behind that one, right? I have his 72. That's a Polyknit. It's the same one I have for the rookie Mike Schmidt, number 22. It's a Polyknit. It's the oldest year Polyknit Phillies jersey that they ever made, with the huge numbers on the back, chain stitch, beautiful jerseys, the powder blue ones they did. They only did it for Carlton and Schmidt. Happy to have the pair. And then, of course, they did the 76 jerseys. They did 80, 83. They did the road 89 for Schmidt. They've done some St. Pat's various years. They did the Saturday night specials. They did the one with the Japan series, which was the original run of it, and then they did it again without the patch. So that's pretty much from that era, from the 70s and up to the late 80s, all of the Phillies jerseys that they've done. Various years, various styles, colors. Yours truly probably has. I have every year they've done. I have every variety that you can think, every color. I don't have every single one for every player. I don't have a Larry Anderson. It's the only 83 one I don't own. I'd still like to get that. There's other players. I mean, I may have, 1 year, but not the other, something like that. They've done quite a few. Like I said, the Phillies, because it's a Philly, based in Philly company, so they do a lot. They did a lot of Phillies back in the day. They still do. They still do make them. I still want that darn St. Pat's Dalton jersey. So, there's that. So that was unexpected tonight. Kind of exciting. I probably shouldn't have done it, but didn't think I would see it. If I saw it again, it would probably be how many years from now? It would just be, to me, that's a unicorn jersey. It just is. And I'm glad to have it, as part of the collection. But as far as collecting goals for 2024, basically just going to keep the ship going in the same direction. I really don't have anything that's just off the top of my head, I have to have this. Really hoping to get this or that. Basically I'm just going to do what I do. I mean, that's the end of the day, that's really all I can do. I would like to get better with the FOMO, and something like tonight, it's going to happen. It just is. But I would like to get a little better with that. and just continuing to continue on. I mean, I'm very, like I said, I'm very humbled to do this. I've done it for very long. The collection is something I'm very proud of. It's an achievement. I know I won the Lids Ultimate Jersey Collector, the inaugural, which I was in contact with them. They're supposed to send me the package by the last week of the year, so we'll see. We'll see what it is. And it's a humbling thing for me. I never want to put myself on a pedestal. I never want to say my collection is the best, is this and that, is better than this and that. I'm not doing this to compete with people. It's a passion, And, I'm very proud of what I own. I have a very diverse collection. You see a lot of authentics. You see a lot of Mitchell & Ness. You see a lot of replica. I've been kind of told, by some friends about the swingman jerseys, the King of Swing and all this. They just love to bust my stones whenever I get one. But, I mean, I do, and I still will. I mean, if it's a jersey that I like, odds are, if I can do it, if I can, afford it, if I can get it in the collection, I'm going to get it in the collection, and that's just all there is to it. I'd rather authentics, but yeah, I mean, every now and then I'll go the swingman line route because yeah, it's there, it's cheaper, I can get it and still go after a few other things, hats, or maybe another jersey or what have you. So. Yeah, but I mean, there are ones that I'd much rather have the authentic of, and yeah, I mean, I will, but yeah, where I can get a swingman and save a few bucks here and there, I mean, that's what I'm going to do, Still would like to get, I saw today there was another video, one of those hockey guys, bashing on the Blue Line collection, and look, I mean, he made some great points, I mean, what he was showing, comparing it to other replica jerseys of back in the day, I get all that, but they're there, Yeah, they're it's kind of, I mean, they're available. They're right there. Like I said, I do want to get the Nathan McKinnon Blueberry at some point. And yeah, I mean, at least one of the Mighty Ducks just to have in the collection. And I know it's pressed, it's not stitched, the patches, I get all that, but they've never done a Mighty Ducks jersey before, and I just want to get a Jason Duck jersey from Mitchell & Ness. So I'll probably grab one of those at some point just to have in the collection. There's other stuff. There's always stuff out there. I know the Flyers are playing in the Stadium Series this year against New Jersey, so whenever they unveil those jerseys, I'll probably grab a Flyer. I don't know what player. We'll see. But I'll grab one. I have all the Flyers, Stadium and Winter Classic jerseys over the years, so this is another one to add to the collection, so that's what I'll do. Obviously, I mean, in 2024, we're going to have, at the end of the year, more City Edition jerseys, so whatever the Sixers and Warriors do, for the Steph collection and for the Sixers, those will happen. And yes, probably in swingman form because that's usually, I get called out on that so many times. The fact that you got Nostalgia Boy just getting authentics, right? You get King Leo just always with the authentics, and I grab swingman just to save some money and be like, oh, why aren't you getting authentics? Like, because I'm not. And you know what? If it bothers people, I'll continue to do it. I'll do it as a big F you. This is my middle finger for you. I'm going to wear it and be happy in it. Ha! It's all in good fun, though. It really is. But I do. That's why I get it. It saves some money. I can get numerous, I can get other things because of it, I get it. If you really like it, just get the authentic. It is what it is. The price point isn't that big of a difference. I don't know. I get a swing. It just makes me feel like, okay, well, I didn't go crazy. I didn't spend too much. Now I can get a couple hats or get another jersey or something. I don't know. It is what it is, man. People like to bust my balls because I get the swings. But yeah, I do. And I wear them. But I have racks full of authentic jerseys. So, but anyhow. True. I would like to get some more True Custom. I didn't put in for as much as I thought I would this year. I got the one set of stuff in, and I loved every one of those 4 jerseys I got from him. So I just been remiss that I haven't placed another order, but probably by we're probably going to have to wait till after the Super Bowl sale, right? So probably after the Super Bowl sale, maybe by the end of February, maybe beginning of March, I'll probably put my next order in with True, and you know, we'll get into detail with that once I do it. Um, Aside from that, I really don't. You know, there's that one sale on eBay does a lot of Majestic custom for baseball. Probably be grabbing some more stuff from them. Um, I just don't know. Like I said, I can't pinpoint right now because you just never know what's going to come up. I know the Stadium Series jersey for the Flyers, that's going to happen. Obviously, if there's final runs or World Series or Super Bowl, I mean, whatever jerseys for the home teams, that will happen. But like I said, I would like to put in at least one true custom order in 24, if not two. And continue to look. I mean, Mitchell Ness is going to continue to put out product. Whether they get them done accurately or not, we'll have to wait and see. There's always something. Always something. But I know they made the Tom Brady Expos road jersey, and he never played as an Expo. He was drafted by the Expos, but he never suited up for them. But listen, is it a nice jersey? Yes. Is it one I'm going to go after? No, because unless it's like a hockey jersey, like something that the team would have worn, like they make some of those jerseys, right? Some of these companies, you see the custom ones out there, right? There's the Canucks jersey. No, not the Canucks. The Nordiques jersey rather, with like the wolf on the front. You see that one that was like a jersey that they were gonna wear if they hung around, and that never happened. Obviously, there was like a Battlebird Penguins jersey that I've seen a few times. I have the trumpeter jersey for the Blues. That was going to be worn during the time of like the Wild Wing and the Burger King and the different jerseys for hockey. The Pooh Bear, those crazy jerseys that the NHL had. I have it. It's a Brett Hall. They never wore it. They were going to, but the coach didn't want them to, so they didn't. But there was other concept jerseys that were made, which teams were going to wear, but scrapped it, didn't do it, or maybe the team moved, like the Nordiques, to become the Avalanche. So that kind of thing I think I would get, but like a jersey of a player who never played on the team, even if it's Tom Brady, no, that's probably not going to happen. I don't mind that Mitchell Ness did it. I don't. He was drafted by them. I don't mind. People were like hating, oh, why would they do... but if it opens up other lanes, like if it gets them to do like a Michael Jordan White Sox or a Barons jersey, I mean, that would be cool, right? Or if they do another jersey of a player, right? Dion, they do his rookie Yankee jersey, or, some of the other teams he was with, like the Braves, the Reds, what have you. If they do, like, some more jerseys like that, I think if this opens that door, I mean, that's more power to them, right? If they only did this for Tom Brady when he never played as an Expo, yeah, I really don't see the point to it. I mean, they did it for Tom Brady Day, December 12th, 12/12, right? Yeah, I mean, there were other Brady jerseys maybe he could have done, the jerseys he wore as a Patriot. Super Bowls or just different jerseys, which I'm sure they'll do. And now we see they have his rights now, right? Because they made that one. So they're going to probably pump out a bunch of Brady jerseys over the years. So that's, it is what it is. It's a curious jersey why they started with that one. I'm not hating on it. It's not something I'll have because, like I said, he didn't play as an Expo. As much I do like that jersey, I've always liked that scripted road Montreal jersey. But yeah, no. I mean, there's other players that they could do in that were Expos that did play. If they did some '94 with the big patch, that would be cool. Maybe they will. I have the hat, so I'm ready for whenever that happens. I know last year or this year they made Guerrero and Pedro. They made a few of their the road jersey, but yeah, they made a Guerrero years ago. They got the 27 on the front wrong because it was too small. I have it, but it's still a nice jersey. Just the font's too small for the 27 on the front, so it is what it is. But so that's the first time since that one that they've made road Expos jerseys from that era. So it's kind of cool. Maybe they can do some more with that beautiful 125 patch. The hat is it just in case it was made. I'm ready. I got the hat just for that. I said I know someday these jerseys are going to be made, and I will have the hat. So I just need the jerseys now. I can't exactly wear that hat with a jersey from another year. That doesn't exactly work. So, yeah, we need the combo wombo to be on point. So we'll see. Obviously, it's always kind of exciting to me to see what they pump out, particularly with baseball, aside from the Tom Brady Expos jersey. But, so we'll see. There were some that they put out recently I just never got around to getting that I wanted to. It just didn't happen. The Pete Rose red. I mean, the road Reds jersey. I never did get that one. I never got that home one, 75 that they put out, and I still want that one. But, there's some others. What was it? The Dontrell Willis Marlins was pretty cool. I always liked D-Train, too, back in the day, even though they were a bit of a rival to the Phillies. But I always thought he was a fun player to watch. I even tried that leg kick thing when in wiffle ball. Keep in mind, I was never quite a baseball player, but I used to try to emulate the big high leg kick. And keep in mind with wiffle ball, that's not the greatest of ideas because then you have to throw the ball and yeah, the ball would wind up over there instead of going where I wanted it to go. But no, there were some other jerseys of more of the recent ones they put out for baseball that I just never got around to getting. Like the Dalton case in point. There's another one, the St. Pat Darren Dalton that I still want to get, and I know they just did a 40% off deal. I didn't. I see that I held off. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be good. I'm not gonna be tempted. This is it. No. I'm gonna run some errands. Don't worry about 40%. And then Dick Allen came up to him. But maybe that's why. It's like you're not supposed to do this because in the nighttime, it's Dick Allen, 69 Phillies going to pop up, and that's the one you're supposed to go after. It's always the way, right? It's like, could one of these just show up when I'm more than ready for it? No. No. It is what it is. I'm still glad to have it. It's still one that I feel I don't know if I could have found again. And never say never. I get that, but I've seen it twice. Once there was no way I can get it because it wasn't for sale. This time it was. Okay. So anyhow, you'll see it when I get it in the mail. It's a rare gem. It is. Like I said, it's probably a unicorn. I don't know how many of them were made. I can't imagine it was as big and pressing as the Rich Allen. I keep saying Rich Allen. The Rich Ashburn. So I had the Dick Allen on the mind, and it's a name that ends in A. So everything's Allen for me now. The Rich Ashburn, the Robin Roberts. I can't imagine it was as big a pressing done for that one because you just don't see it. Just don't see it. And the tagging, the jock tag isn't that old tag either. So it was made, within the time that they started putting that the tag you currently see on their jerseys. I don't know when. I would imagine during the days when Peter was still running things there. But so it was made within the last, I'd say 15 years, or maybe 16, 17 years if I were to really. However long they've had that current Cooperstown Collection tag, at some point that was put in. but it's a nice piece. It really is. And I'm glad to have it. So anyhow, I guess I've gone on long enough here, about an hour and 10 minutes. That's part of the course here for me here on YouTube. Um, so I guess my resolution for collecting really is aside from the FOMO deal, I guess I really don't have one this year. I don't have, like, there isn't this, like, big. I mean, there are jerseys on the hit list. There is. There's always going to be. But as far as the, like, oh, if I could just get this one, if I could just get that one, right? There are ones I would love to get, but I can't really think of anything that I know that, as far as what was made. If it's like if I see something that's like a custom, yeah, it's something I would love to have. But again, it's hard to call it a grail because it was a one of one, like that 76 Dick Allen. It was a one of one. They're not out there. So it's not like, unless some other person got that one done and they sell it on eBay, I'm never going to see it again, Or if I get it done somehow, I'm never going to see it again. So I can't exactly say it's a grail because it's not something that was really made. It was a custom jersey someone had done, but it wasn't really made for retail. And those are the jerseys I would call grails because they're attainable. I can get them. They might be hard to get. It might take a long time, as some of these jerseys certainly took for me to acquire, but I can't really call it a grail because if it's just not attainable, because there's only one made, what can I do, right? Unless I do it, have it done somehow, or someone else does it and they sell it. And that's it. So those type of things are hard for me to call grails. They're wanted jerseys. There are. I see some stuff people have done by True or some custom stuff, and it's like, ooh. Yeah, that would be nice. That would look nice in the collection. But again, I can't call it a grail because it's not something that's really made for retail, I'm not going to have other opportunities to find it unless whoever got it done sells it, or I get it done down the road myself by a customizer, So that's why it's a little different. That's why I can't exactly put those type of jerseys on a grail list. But I can if it's an older run, or even a more modern Mitchell & Ness that's just hard to get. And I really want it in the collection. And it's like, oh, man, this thing slipped through my fingers a few times. And, okay, well, this is reaching grail status now. So until that happens again, I'm happy to say I'm pretty grail-less at this point as far as jerseys that I would love to get that I know were out there. There are ones I would like to get. I wouldn't exactly call them grails, but they're ones that I would like to have in the collection, certainly. I don't think that's ever going to stop. I don't think that's something that ever is going to be quenched, because there's always stuff out there, and there's always stuff that, if I can't get right away, and then they kind of, but I still would like to get it, Might take a little time, but eventually, right? So that is never going to be fully satisfied. But as far as like the grail list, I think I'm good. At least grails. They're jerseys, like I said, that I would love to get, and ones that I've kind of let go a little too long. Maybe I should move on some, right? But I wouldn't exactly call them a grail. They're wanted jerseys, not exactly grail jerseys. If any of this is making sense. I know I keep blabbing on. I guess I'm just in a mood tonight. It is what it is. But as always, I'm going to end here. But as always, what do you got to do, right? You got to leave those likes. Make sure to leave the likes. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And hit that bell icon so you keep getting notified to all future content from yours truly. We're going to have some fun. I still have to do the collection recap again, or cataloging again. I have to get to that. Hopefully I'll have at least one video of that done before the end of the year. We'll go after one of the rack upstairs for baseball, probably start. So I want to do that. And yeah, I mean, there's probably going to be maybe a vehicle vlog at some point. Once the 69 Dick Allen comes in, I'll show that. goodness, I can't think of much else. I mean, obviously, season of the fan for the Eagles. Oh, please get a win on Monday night. Oh, these last 2 weeks. uh, so we need one for the psyche around here. People are getting really loopy. I mean, you know, some of the calls on the radio and plus the Dallas fans are having too much fun, and we have to stop that. We have to put an end to that. You know, they've been dancing around a little too long. Come on, Bills, beat them. I need two things. I need Dallas to lose tomorrow, and I need the Eagles to win on Monday, and then all is right again in the football world. Okay, I need those two things to happen. Oh my goodness, I'm getting low battery mode. So you know what? My phone is telling me stop recording, idiot. I need to be charged. I need fuel. Okay. You all take care. Happy holidays. As always, we are about a week away from Christmas now and 2 weeks away from 2024. Oh, God. Another year. But at any rate, you all take care, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.